Hi, I've been avoiding you for a really long time. Um, yeah, I mean, really, since I posted all that stuff on the trip, I checked with my parents. That was the end of April, I think. That was like a month. Is that the end of April? Beginning of April, maybe. End of, gee, I don't even remember. But anyway, it's been a long time. I, sorry, I was depressed today. I am depressed today. So, not doing great. um, but yesterday I was driving for the lift, which I do, and I had um, some experiences I wanted to talk about. Um, Thought you might find interesting. No, I really like driving is such a weird thing. I feel like it's I don't know, like it's just such a I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, like I mean, like I had these experiences yesterday. Well, one specific experience yesterday, and then I mean, I've had tons of weird, negative, whatever experiences driving because I like following the rules. Apparently, that's something that's just true about me. Um, I mean, to a certain extent, everybody gives themselves license to do things that they don't give other people the license to do. So obviously, there are some times when rules apply to everyone else and not to me. um, and I mean, driving certainly falls into that category. Um, but generally, I try and abide by the rules of the road. And speed limits are one that I try and stick to. I do 5 over or 10%, whichever is 10% over, whatever's lower. I got the 10% thing from I listened to a book by what's his name? Of course, I can't think of his name now. He did like Outliers and Tipping Point. Gosh, I can't think of his name. Um, Malcolm Gladwell. And I was listening to one about like snap decisions. No, no, that wasn't it. That was the anyway. It was one of his newer ones. Anyway, he talked about um, a situation where somebody, a person got pulled over and it ended up they got arrested, like whatever. But in that he spoke about um, something. He talked something about 10% over the speed limit, and that stuck in my head. So I used to just always do 5 over. So like 25, I'd go 30, 30, I'd go 35. Um, and then for whatever reason, that 10% stuck in my head. So now I do, you know, well, 25, it's kind of anywhere between 25 and 30 ish. Um, but then when it's 30, I think I try and go 25 actually when it's 25 now that I'm thinking about it. I try not to go too much over 25 because I feel like 25 is like neighborhoods and children and stuff like that. And I feel like you should just be as careful as possible. Which I guess being careful as possible would be less than the speed limit, but that's okay. Let's not talk about that. Um, yeah, so 30, I do 33. 35, I do 39. 38, 39. 38, I guess. Well, 39. Anyway, 40, I do 44. 45, then I do 50. Then it's 55. 50, it's 55. 55, 60. 65, 60, 65, 60, blah, blah, blah. 5 after that. Anyway, none of that's important. Well, it's sort of important. Anyway, so I was driving um, on I-70. I had picked somebody up at the airport and I was driving them into Wheat Ridge. So we were on I-70. My app told me, the Lyft app told me to take the express lanes, which is great with me. Although normally I don't know how it works for the passenger. I assume that they have to pay those tolls. I get reimbursed for them. So occasionally, like I'll ask them, but I always feel kind of like surely like that was included in the upfront, like like when they made the reservation, it was like you're gonna have to pay this toll or this is the price and it includes this toll. Um, I don't really know. I've only taken 2 lifts in my life, so I don't actually know how well, or I don't know very well how that side of the app works. Um, But anyway, so yeah, sometimes I feel like I need to ask them, like I feel a little guilty, but then like I said, I feel like surely this was presented to them and they know. Um so I've gotten to where now I just kind of do it. So yeah, so the thing that was weird this time is that I we had been in the express lane for a little while, a few miles, and I think maybe my passenger was sleeping and she woke up. Anyway, but she was like, "Oh, you're such an angel for taking the express lanes." And I was like, "Oh, I'm just doing what the app told me." But then later, like, it was funny because after that, almost the entire rest of the way, which was like probably like 25 minutes, 25 minutes, I had this like internal like fight with myself about how I should handle this because it was like, I'm getting reimbursed for these tolls. She thinks I'm doing like a really nice thing for her by paying for the tolls myself. And then I got worried that she was going to like tip me like extra, thinking that I had paid these tolls for her. And then she was going to find out that she had to pay the tolls and she was going to be mad at me, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I had this whole like internal dialogue the whole way there, like the whole rest of the way. And I ended up not saying anything to her. And then when I like completed the ride and looked at it, they actually did not reimburse me for those tolls. And so then I was going back and forth of like, should I tell them that I didn't get reimbursed for these tolls or should I not? And then I don't feel as guilty about her thinking that like the whole like anyway, it was ridiculous. But that was all an introduction to I was in the toll lane, the express lane. Now, it's funny because I had just seen something on Facebook about, like some post from like Nine News about being in the express lane and the person behind you getting really annoyed with you because you're not going as fast as they want to go in the express lane. And like, how do you handle it? And of course, I read the comments, which is always a mistake. Reading comments on anything like that on Facebook can be very entertaining unless you're someone like me who gets mad at everybody for everything, and then you just end up mad. No, that one wasn't that bad actually, but it was interesting just to like see people, people's interpretations, people's reactions, and then of course, you're reading through the comments and like people start posting things that really aren't related to that. It's just like random like traffic like complaints, whatever. Which is Facebook. Like that's how the RTD page, like I follow, well, I guess I follow them. I see their posts and anytime like they post anything like just like, hey, like happy Memorial Day, don't forget the schedules are different today, and then there's like 20 posts about how they could be more efficient or there aren't enough lines or there are not enough drivers, there are enough train operators, like it's just, hey, RTD posted something, I'm going to complain about something that's unrelated to what they post about. um Anyway, so I can't quite remember why I got to that, but so I'm in the toll lane. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So I had just seen something about the toll lane. Um, yeah. So there's this post on Facebook about the express lanes and it was interesting because people were commenting on that and they kept talking. So many people kept talking about like being in the passing lane or the fast lane or in the left lane. And it was kind of that like I wanted to comment, but it's just like one in 1,000 comments. So, but like the toll lane is not the left lane. It's not the passing lane. It's not the fast lane. Like there is no fast lane. First of all, let's acknowledge that it's not a fast lane. It's a passing lane. Just because you're going fast doesn't mean you get to stay in the left lane. Like because fast is all relative. First of all, so there's somebody probably going faster than you, which with some of these people it's hard to believe, but it's got to be true. But yeah, so it's supposed to be a passing lane. So if you're like, I'm going fast, so I'm going to stay in the left lane, then you're doing something wrong. Which, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so that was kind of funny that everyone like kind of misinterpreted what the express lane was. But yeah, so I got in the express lane. Now it's interesting because, which I realized on another airport trip, the express lane on I-70 going west, excuse me, you get in it like, whatever, just after, what is that? Is it 270? No, 225. Anyway, you get like, it's, it goes however it goes, like 225 to I-25 ish. And it seems to be the same price regardless of where you enter it. So like if you get in it right at the beginning and go all the way, it's whatever it is. Like when we were going in it during rush hour, it was 525. But yeah, if you get in it 2, stops later, still 525. Which yeah, like I said, I had discovered a previous day because I had waited to enter it thinking that I was saving the person I was driving money because there was there wasn't traffic right away. And of course we ended up getting to a slowdown before I got to, and then we had to wait a little ways before I could get into the express lane and ended up paying the same amount. So that was dumb. But something in my coffee. But yeah, so I just got in it right away because that's what they told me to do. Now, the traffic was still going at a decent clip. Like it was going, some of them were going faster than me because I was actually going 63, I think. Speed limit's 55 there. So the fact that I was going 63 is weird because like I said, I normally go 60 in those situations. Sometimes I'll go 61. But yeah, so I was actually going faster than I normally go. But of course, there are people behind me who want to go faster. Now, these are the people that don't, well, yeah. So I don't know if I started it this way. People don't understand what the express lane means, I think, or what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a way of getting around traffic. Like you pay to get around the traffic, like traffic jams. It's not like I pay to get to go as fast as I want. Like I paid my money so I can do whatever I want. That's not what it is. But most people think that. So I think it was probably 4 cars, maybe 5 cars behind me. And I could see, like I wasn't paying too much attention to them when I'm driving for Lyft. And I think I'm getting better about it just in general. But especially when I'm driving for Lyft, like I'm fairly good about just letting everybody else do whatever they want. And I'll do what I need to do and not have it be like I'm getting upset with them, like whatever. But I did notice, a few cars back, like you could see like the one guy like popping out to the left, like trying to see like, why aren't we going faster? And so now, interestingly, the person that was right behind me was not acting like a person who was annoyed with me for going only 8 over the speed limit. But when we finally got you get to a place where it opens up into 2 lanes and you stay in the left lane if you want to stay in the express lanes and you go into the right lane if you're going to merge back into traffic. So of course at this point everybody like zooms around me, and I think all 4 of them, 4 or 5 of them, at least 3, anyway, they go around me and then like cut me off, and not like cut me off and stop, like, well, one did, we'll get there, but they do that thing where they get in front of you like immediately so that they're annoyed with you. So it was very strange because even that first person that was behind me who didn't seem to be annoyed with me because she wasn't like following me like super closely like people normally do when they're annoyed with you for going too slow or the speed limit or 8 over the speed limit. Anyway, they all like came, zoomed by me and got in front of me like way too soon, like immediately, as they passed my bumper. But yeah, then the one guy, so the one guy, it was the car that I had seen like peeking out to see what was going on. He got past me and got in front of me and then like decided to brake check me to let me know how annoyed he was with me. So he did that, and I actually think so. I had to like slow down. It wasn't like I didn't like slam on my brakes, but I think it was enough. I think that's actually what woke up my passenger, and that's when she told me what an angel I was for taking the express lanes. So it was really funny because like this guy had just like cruised by me and then like slammed on his brakes, and this other person, like while he's like brake checking me, another guy is passing me and he's got his arm out the window like, what are you doing? And so then he goes on, and then of course the guy who brake checked me, he's actually getting back into traffic, so he gets in the right lane, and then of course rolls down his window and flips me off, and is trying to merge back into all the traffic, which by now has slowed down. So like this is where it's like this is a good thing we're in the express lanes. But yeah, so like As this, one guy is like, get out of the way, and the other guy's flipping me off. This lady's like, oh, you're such an angel for taking the express lanes. And I was like, you're the only person that thinks I'm an angel for being in the express lanes right now, because everybody else hates me. Um, but yeah, it's just so like, it's so funny. And I understand, like, I know that feeling of like, I want to go faster. Why aren't you going faster? Or, because like I'll get that way too when somebody gets in front of me for seemingly no reason. Like, why are you getting in front of me right now? You were fine in your lane. They got in front of me. And then they're not going as fast as I was. Like, I mean, like we all understand that feeling. Like, I've gotten super angry at other people for doing whatever it was that I felt personally offended by. Um, but it's just such a weird thing. Like I'm paying to be in the express lane. I'm going over the speed limit. What cause do you have to complain? Like, that's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, seriously, like, I'm not. I'm doing what I'm allowed to do. I'm doing what I want to do, which is what you want to do. You want to do what you want to do. Actually, not even what you're allowed to do. I'm not even doing what I'm allowed to do. I'm going 8 over the speed limit, and you're super pissed off at me, Mr. Guy from Florida. Yeah, he was from Florida. And of course, like his left like side mirror is all busted. It's always the people with like the terrible cars that get the most angry with you. And you're like, of course your car is completely destroyed because you're a terrible driver. People must like, you must be running into people all the time. Like, how do you even have a license left? Who is insuring you? I wouldn't. But anyway, so that was interesting. All right. Well, so this is long. Um, I've been told that I need to. Oh man, it's 17 minutes already. I've been told that these are too long, not digestible enough. So I'm gonna cut this one here, and I'm gonna do another one sometime, maybe in 2 months. But so that's my story about I don't know how driving is just ridiculous, and we're all ridiculous when we do it, and I don't understand why. Okay, love you. Oh, I missed it. Push the button.